Good afternoon, guys.
Hi Manish, I have just put this session on live so that people are able to join in.
Mhm.
Are you able to see my full screen?
Yes, I can, Shubhra.
Okay, fine. So Dr. Rao and Dr. Sumit, both of them are with us, and we already checked our
Okay.
video controls.
Yep.
Okay, so this is done.
hmm
So I'll
So,
connect
Shubhra, we'll start at
three.
3 exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. So we already have 300 plus participants already have joined in. So I'm just muting
Yes.
over here because now it is live.
Mhm.
I'll discuss with you on chat then.
Okay. Good afternoon and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will be starting this session, this webinar in next 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will start in 2 minutes. I can see there are a lot of participants still joining us, so we'll wait for them. So I think it is time. It is 3 p.m. in India. So good afternoon and good evening to everyone, depending on where you're joining us from. I am Manish Unyal, Senior Marketing Manager for Elsevier India team. I have my colleague, Dr. Shubhra Datta with me. She is a solution consultant for Elsevier Research Intelligence team and has a strong research background in drug discovery. She has worked in both corporate and academic sector, and she is my co-host for today and also a panelist for today's webinar. So welcome, Shubhra. So Shubhra, I think we still have few people logging in, so we are going to give them a minute to get settled and then we will get underway. What do you think, Shubhra?
Shubhra, you need to unmute.
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 Can't hear you.
Okay, so a very good afternoon and good evening to everyone present. And yeah, Manish, okay, let's just give a minute.
Yeah.
Already we do have more than 1,000 people logged in. So
Yeah.
I think it's probably it's good to go so that we maintain time for our session.
All right, Shubhra. So I will start. So thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Decoding the Predatory Journal Menace. Today's sessions are full of information that can help you understand the nuances of predatory publishing. And you will learn how to address related challenges from our experts. Now, I would like to cover a few housekeeping rules. Everyone should be watching in the listen-only mode, but if you do see a microphone icon on your screen, please be sure to keep yourself on mute. There will be 2 presentations and a panel discussion, and you will get plenty of time for your questions during the discussion. Your comments and questions are warmly welcome. You can use the question box to submit your questions at any time, and we will save all of these for our Q&A session after the 2 presentations. Today's webinar is being recorded, and we will share a link with you after the event is complete. We have with us as our guest speakers today, Dr. Sumit Narula. Dr. Narula is a PhD in electronic media and conflict resolution from Punjab University, Chandigarh. He is presently working as the Director, Head of Institution in Amity School of Communication at Amity University, Madhya Pradesh. He has got 2 master's degrees and 2 postgraduate diplomas to his credit. He has published 2 books in mass media, communication, journalism, and edited many on the subject. He is editor-in-chief of the biannual Scopus indexed UGCKR listed journal named the Journal of Content Communication. He is also the chairman of recently established Center of Detection of Fake News and Disinformation at AUMP. A warm welcome to you, Dr. Narula. Our next guest speaker, Dr. Subba Rao, is the Deputy Director Head at Nutritional Information, Communication and Health Education Division, ICMR. He has a PhD in communication from University of Hyderabad. He was ICMR International Fellow at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, Baltimore, USA in 2013. His research interests are in health, nutrition, and food safety communication, with special emphasis on social, behavioral, cultural aspects of communicative processes. He was elected as the Fellow of National Academy of Agricultural Sciences in 2021, Fellow of Royal Society of Public Health UK in 2019. He received V.N. Patwardhan Prize from ICMR in 2014, and these are just a few in the list of many awards and honors that Dr. Rao has received. It's a pleasure to have you on board with us, Dr. Rao. So, Shubhra, before we start the presentations, I think it would be good to know our audience as well, now that the audiences know about our speakers. So, ladies and gentlemen, there will be 2 polling questions on your screen that we would like you to answer, and it would help us understand our audience better. So, there are 2 questions. And I will end the polling now. So I can see that we have a diverse group here today with us. And you know, I'm confident that we'll meet your expectations today. And I can see there are a lot of people here for because of the topic of the webinar, and you know, a lot of people in the audience have been facing this problem. And I can see some are here because their boss asked them to. So I would just like to tell you that you know, after this session, you would realize that boss is always right, and this session was worth spending your time. So on that note, and at this time, I'm going to hand over the floor to Dr. Narula to start his presentation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Manish, for this blistering introduction, and thank you, the panel and everybody. At the outset, with the blessings of Ma Saraswati, I would like to thank the Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok Chauhan, the beacon of the Amity universe, and Dr. Aseem Chauhan, the Honorable Chairman and Chancellor of Amity University, Madhya Pradesh, Gwalior. And last but not least, my mentor and guide, Lieutenant General V.K. Sharma, AVSM retired, the Vice Chancellor of this wonderful university in which we are doing this work in Amity University. I would also like to thank Team Elsewhere for whose hard work and contribution and made this thing has happening with us, with Shubhra and Manish. And I would also like to thank Subbarao sir for joining hands with us from the ICMR to decoding this madness. So I will be sharing my screen. And if you allow me, so there are a couple of presentations, a couple of slides, and then I will go live with the hands-on training. So right, this will be a hands-on training session on how to catch predatory and clone journals. And I'm Dr. Sumit Narula, director, and everything has been told by Manish. So I will just skip this slide. So what is predatory publishing? I will just give you a small background of that predatory publishing. And then there are questions which I have also seen, and there will be questions on how to check them, catch them. And I will be doing that exercise with you. So first, the introduction. Predatory publishing is called write-only publishing or deceptive publishing. It is an exploitative publishing business model that involves charging publication fees to authors without checking the quality and legitimacy of the articles, and without providing the other editorial and publishing services that legitimate journals should provide, whether open access or not. They are regarded as predatory because scholars are tricked into publishing with them, although some authors may be aware that the journal is of poor quality or even fraudulent. New scholars from developing countries are said to be especially at the risk of being misled by these predatory publishers. According to one study, 60% of articles published in predatory journals receive no citations over the 5 years following publication. I will show you a unique journal, a unique example of a journal. In last 5 years, it is now out of the Scopus list. In the last 5 years, it couldn't garner a single citation because of this predatory thing with them. Cloned is also known as pseudo and other kind of name with the journals. Clone web journals are a counterfeit mirror of an authentic journal that exploit the title and ISIN of a legitimate journal. In contrast to predatory, clone journals are more likely to accept papers from authors since they have developed as a mirror image of reputable journals, including their domain names. There's a software with which we can check the domain name and the making of the website also, that I will also show you, that you can see that most of the clone journals are recently being made. They're not even 6 months old. Some of these counterfeit journals actively chase authors through a modified email, even through the Gmail rather, that announces a fake call for papers in a current issue of the journal. Authors may be duped by this solicitation into paying an open access publication fees, trusting that their work is to be published in a reputable journal. You will think that your paper is publishing in a reputable journal of Elsewhere or Web of Science. No journal is saved, no database is saved from them, and they have penetrated almost all the good databases. So there is one important website. You can check this website to understand about RUG and fake impact factor. There are only two impact factors that has to be considered in education line. That is the site score by Elsewhere, Scopus, and JCR by the Clarivate analysis. I'll just click on this website and I will take you to that website, which will give you a view that why these are misleading and fake matrices. So just look at this website. These are 7 points. You can see some of the points. It is food for thought for you to see that why these impact factors are wrong and misleading. The first point, the website for the metric is non-transparent and provides little information about itself, location, management team and its experience, and other company informations. The company charges journals for inclusion in the list, and the company uses Google Scholar as its database for calculating matrices. Very, very important point for us to understand. Google Scholar does not screen the quality and indexes predatory journal. So if a journal is in Google Scholar or it has been indexed by Google, it has of no much significance. Yes, you can easily find the journal, but academically it has not much of the relevance. So this is the list, alphabetically it's been given. You can check, you can click, and you can understand that why these names are there. And some has just been used a replica of DOAJ like DRGI, or DOI, Digital Object Identifier, has been made like DOI, and even you can see some with the C. See, they have site score. Somebody has started site factor and Cosmos impact factor. So these are also come into this category. Coming back to my presentation. So another important link is cdfnd.in. This is our Center for Detection of Fake News and Disinformation, which we have started at our university. In this center also we are doing.
Dr. Narula, sorry to interrupt. Your slides are not visible now. You are still on the live link.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a second. So no slide is being shown?
No. Earlier we were able to see it, so everything went fine. So after the site factor where you were talking about, these are all the fake
Okay.
factors,
So
metrics.
now you can see the important links slide?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Probably you'll have to stop sharing and do a reshare again.
Just a second, ma'am. Thank you. Is it fine now?
It's about to start. We'll just give it a minute or so.
I'll just check my. Network. Just a second. Yes. Is it live now? The website, the slides?
I think it's about to come. It's still not able to view it. It is showing it has started sharing. We will just wait probably.
Sumit, close your PPT, reopen it and then share.
Okay.
Yeah, close the slideshow. Complete
Is it?
slideshow.
No, I have closed this complete slideshow. I'm again sharing my screen now.
Not happening. Probably if you can open, close the PPT completely and then open a
Yes,
fresh
it's completely closed now. I have shared the screen. Can you see my shared screen?
one. No, unfortunately, I'm not able to see it.
I think I have to rejoin then otherwise. But you can listen to me and
Would you
you can see me.
would you want me to share your slide?
Yeah, I think
Yes,
that's
if that, yes, that is also possible. Yes.
Okay.
Then I
let
will
me-
just go to the. But I need to stop from here, stop share now. But I have to show them certain links also. So
Okay, just let me know. I'll just. So is full screen visible?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Yes.
can you put it in slideshow, Shubhra?
This is not coming in slideshow.
No, not yet.
Is this slideshow now? Full screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, but I need to show them the links after the slides. I will go back to these links. So the first link is cdfnd.in. That is our Center for Detection of Fake News and Disinformation, which we have started in our university here. And another one is a UGC link that is for the Indian audience that they can look from there the list of cloned and predatory journals. And another one is title suggestion@scopus.com, where you can write to the Scopus team about any of the title which is indexed in Scopus, and they will tell you about the health of that journal, whether it is red flag, whether it has become predatory, or what is the revaluation status of that journal, or whether they will be working with that journal or not. So these are the three important links. I will be opening them when I will get my screen back. Next slide, ma'am. Yes, so we have started this email helpline also, that is cdfnd@gwa.mit.edu. You can write to us and we will be replying you back in 48 hours about all the problems related to predatory cloned journals, and we will give you all the solutions as well as the present status of that journal which you are looking for, whether it's a Iranian journal or it's a UK journal or USA journal. We will give you all the information about those journals. So this is cdfnd@gwa.mit.edu. Next slide, ma'am. So 15 crucial points. 15 crucial points would be, I will be speaking about them one by one, but I will also would like to give you some examples also. The first one is, most predatory clone journals will not have any submission deadlines, and they will publish out of the purview or scopus of the journal or the scope of the journal. They will always charge money and will give you early publications. Most of them will be having multiple journals doing the same job, sometimes their one journal is indexed. By chance, one journal got indexed, but they said that all the journals are indexed. They also use the cloned website and the same logo and ISN numbers of others. Most of predatory and clone journals will use Gmail IDs and other IDs, not the official IDs. There will be no contact details of the chief editor and the editor, or else they will be using the names of the people, those who are not there. And sometimes they are also use the fake people. Next slide, ma'am. Always check the UGC care list, Scopus or WS data. I will show you how to check that before submitting to any journal. Always check the making of the website. That I will also show you that how to check that making. And please beware of the fake stems of Scopus and Web of Science indexing. Most of the journals, fake and predatory, use this indexing, stems. And Google indexing is very easy. There is no science involved in it, and it is not that useful in academics, but it gives you more citations. So yes, Google indexing is also there. And if any journal speaks about open access, look for the DOAJ stamp. The journal must give you also a DOI, that is Digital Object Identifier Number. Most renowned journals are now integrating the ORCID ID with your research publications. That is also very important point for you to see. All predatory journals will have less or no citations and will be involved in unethical and malpractices. And always the last point is check, and always recheck the details given on the website. Please do verify the journal and do go to various helplines or do go to the various databases to check the authenticity of the journal. Next slide, ma'am. These are the contact details. You can contact me also, and you can email me, and you can WhatsApp me, and we are very active on LinkedIn also. So if the screen can be given to me, ma'am, I can go for some hands-on.
So I've stopped sharing, sir. You can share your live platform.
Right. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yeah, Sumit,
Yes.
before you go ahead, there is a request in the chat box from someone requesting you to speak a bit slower.
Yeah.
You're going too
I'll do
fast. Yeah.
Okay. So there is one journal, that is Adalia journal. This journal is opening up, and if you see the page of this journal when it opens, you will see a couple of dubious things on the journal's page. The first thing is the impact factor, which is 5.3 written here, and we don't know who has given this impact factor. And the second point that they have given is, right, they're using the Gmail ID. It is very dubious for an international journal or international journal of repute to use the Gmail ID for the editor. And then there is a logo of Web of Science. Yes, this journal can be in Web of Science. I am saying can be, we have to check that. And then there is a logo of UGC Care, this Clarivate and Web of Science. These logos you can see they have simply saved from the internet and just copied here on the website. And you can see the Google Scholar, the DOI. So these logos and these things are prima facie making us doubtful about the credibility of this journal. And the important point which we have to see, if we go to the contact details of this journal, if we click on the contact details, there will be no details to contact them, right? You do not know who's the editor-in-chief of this journal specifically. It's just these columns that you have to fill. Why? We need the information on the website only. So these are some of the basic points to look for a cloned journal. I will come back to predatory, but this is cloned journal. And if you go to the editorial board also, in the editorial board also, you can see the names. Even these people doesn't know that their names have been written here because of no email IDs, so that we can contact them, right? So these are some of the points in a journal which making this journal a clone journal. If you go to call for paper also, you click on call for paper, you will see they're covering all the areas started from science to architecture. All the areas have been written here. This is not a possibility for a journal to work in all the areas. So what we will do, we will simply go to the Web of Science MJL list, that is Web of Science Master Journal list. We will just log in. You can log in with your Gmail ID or with your personal ID. I have the access. You can also have the access. Like this is the page. When you click on them, this is the MJL you need to log in before searching for any journal. So this journal is looking like that it is a Web of Science index journal, but this might not be the original website. So we will be now searching the original website. How we'll go? We'll go to the MJL of the Web of Science. Likewise, we will go for elsewhere also. No database is safe. Even the ABDC list has been cloned in some of the journals. So that is a point there, that no list and no database is safe. So we will log in. And once we log in, we will be redirected to that master journal list. And once we reach the master journal list, we can write the name of the journal here. That is Adalia journal. We will go to search journal. It will search for us, and we will see that they must give us the original website. So now you got the results, and results you can see that it is a Turkish journal, and most probably the website will also be in Turkey because it's a Turkish journal. So we'll see the details: publisher, ISN, Web of Science, right? Everything is fine. Then we'll go to view profile page. We'll click on view profile page like this, and it will take us to the more information about this journal. Here is the more information, the journal website. The original website is lying here. We will click on that. You can see the frequency annual. Region, I told you Turkey, it is in Turkey. And it is AHCI, that is Arts and Humanities Citation Index. So we'll go to visit site. And while we are visiting this site, we will be seeing that this is the original journal. Can you imagine this original journal is lying in Turkey and somebody has opened this cloned website of that original journal, the Adalia journal here and the Adalia journal here. So this is the original one. This is the main problem, that we have to check and recheck and check again to verify it from various resources and sources given to us online. So this is example number one. I will give you a very unique example. One more example. The journal name GIS Science Journal. Here it is. Now, prima facie, you can again see this is looking like a cloned website. Why? Because the impact factor again 6.1 is given here. The UGC care links, the Scopus activation links, and many other things that we discussed. And again, you can see the DOI logo, the Crossref logo, they've been misused. And if you go to the editorial board here, you might find some names. The names are there, but no details are there. If you go to contact, you will not be able to contact them. This form will come in front of you. Why will you fill this form and give them your information? If you go to call for paper, you can see that the indexing has been written in Scopus, elsewhere databases. So we will check it in elsewhere databases. We can go through Schemago also, and we can go through elsewhere only. So what we will do, we go to scopus.com. We will log in like we logged in into Web of Science. Here it is. I have already logged in. I will sign out and log in with my official university ID. It will give you more access to the database. I will sign in. So now I have more access. So what I will do, I will write the name here in sources. In sources, you can search by 3 areas. One is title, publisher, and ISN. So we will go by title, and title is Scopus will self-populate the name when you write them because it is Scopus indexed. So you can go to GIS Science. The name is GIS Science Journal. This is GIS word. I have to write GIS Science.
Sumit, you have to cancel the GIS world filter.
Okay. Filter.
Yeah, close it. Yeah. Now you type again.
If it is not coming from here, we can go through the Schemago also. While it is searching here, we can go to Schemago. Oh, it is there. So you can see it's a kind of language journal publishing in different language, but you can see the name is also different, and you cannot see the title from here, the website which is there. So that is why they made the cloned website of the original journal. So where is the original journal? We can go to Schemago. Schemago will give you the original website of this journal. We can check it through Schemago also. It is also the database working of the elsewhere only. So we can write GIS science here, and it will give you the details of that journal, and 99% will give you the original website of that journal. So you can search from here also. Here it is. Many names. We have to categorize it through here. We have to click Command C, full name, and then search. Here it is. So it's a Germany journal publishing in Germany, working in the area of computer science and geography and all. H index is 2, and here it is homepage. You can click on this homepage, and it will take you to the original website of that journal. So this is the original website of that journal. What we saw was the clone website, and how do it look like? This is the clone website of that original journal, looking like this, and this is the original website, right? One more journal, that is, I have a full list, but I'm just giving you 5-7 clone journals, and another one is Agum. Agum also. Now again, you can see this website prima facie. It has all the features of a cloned website. That is impact factor again 6.1. We don't know from where it has been taken. Again, this UGC care and all these things. Again, the Gmail ID. The Gmail ID is very, very kind of suspicious. As in when you get a call for paper from the Gmail ID, just beware. And very unique thing which you see, if you see the call for paper here, you can see the submission last date, that is throughout the year. Acceptance status 24 hours. Publication period 24 hours. This is impossible to publish a paper in 24 hours. Even for reading, you need at least 1 week. And that too, receiving the publication fees, frequency 12 issues. This cannot be a possibility. Please do not fall prey to these kind of call for papers and all. And you can see the money has been involved, and these logos, again, the dubious impact factors and these things are there. So now where is the original journal? Because it is 100% in clone journal, they are claiming to be themselves in indexed in elsewhere. Yes, elsewhere has indexed them, but the original one is in elsewhere. So we can search it through Schemago also, or we can search it through the main sources, main database also. Again, we'll go there. We'll go to sources. It will be self-populated. We'll write Agum, and it is like there, self-populated. Click, and it will give us this information. So this is the original journal, which is published from Belgium University de Liga. Now the original website, we can take the original website from the Schemago. Schemago can give us the information about that. So that is there, Agum and everything. So these are some of the clone journals, and some of the clone journals are being closed, but some are still lurking. One is like Xi'an Journal of Architecture and Technology. Prima facie, now you can see the website, and you can see that it is a clone website. Again, they have used the Scopus database to make it clone, because it's a Chinese journal publishing in Chinese, and it's a science press journal which is in China. They use it here and made the clone website. And people from all across the countries are being fooled by them. If you see the current issue, I can show you the paper from all over the world are being sent to them. So that is also a kind of a problem with all the nations, Southeast Asian nations, that they are being fooled, and they have, even you can see the paper of Austria is there. So it has become a big menace, the cloning of the journals. So that is point one in cloning. Right. So I will be also showing you now some of the areas, gray areas, and some of the predatory journals. So predatory journals are those journals which journals has a very high rate of publishing. They go out of the purview, and some of the journals does not belong to the area in which they are working. And for that, to check that which journals have been discontinued, you need to go to one point, that is Scopus discontinued list, February 2021. This is a newly developed list by Scopus. It is a dynamic list. It is being updated regularly. So you need to click here and download the latest discontinued list, which has all the names. Like I'm downloading it for you, for all the names of the latest discontinued journal. So once you download the list, it will look like this. I'm opening it for you. It will look like this. Newly added titles are highlighted in orange. So you can see some of the newly added titles are highlighted in orange, and other titles which are there, they are already there from last 5 to 7 years. So these are some of the latest one delisted in February 2021. So this list is now Bible for you. Download it for you. It is free. Anybody can use this list and you can see that some of the journals are there. You can see reason for discontinuation. There are criteria involved in it. Shubhra ma'am will be talking more about that. 4 criteria: do not meet Scopus criteria, matrices, publication concerns, and radar. So most are being out because of the publication concerns, because they publish more than required research papers. There are a couple of journals. One of this journal is European Journal of Molecular and Clinical Medicine, and there are other journals like International Journal of Management and International Journal of Engineering and Advanced Research in Technology. The word international itself is a dubious word. As and when you see a journal is using international word, just be aware. Just start thinking more about that journal. Just start searching more about that journal. There is nothing bad with the word international and word or European. The words are good words. They are solid words, but they are being misused. So this is a list. The link will be shared with you. You can download this list, and it's a dynamic list. The next list will be coming most probably in the month of March or April with some new names added to them. So now coming back to the links, let me go to Scopus again. So these are some of the cloned journals. Now I'm shifting my work to predatory journals. So I will show you a couple of research journals which have latestly being made the predatory, are now out of the Scopus discontinued list. So how you can check them? You can go to title. You have to write the title here. So the first journal which is out of the Scopus database is Journal of Critical Reviews. Here it is. And you can see it is written here, coverage discontinued in Scopus. Why? Because of the predatory publishing practices. So how to check that it has become a predatory and why it has been into the predatory publishing practices? You need to check the Scopus content coverage. Once you click on the Scopus content coverage, you will see the number of papers it has published in the year 2020 or in the preceding years. You can see in 2019 it got indexed. It published only 132 papers. In 2020, before it was red flagged and marked, it published around 2,906 research papers, which is not a good idea. And that is why it has been thrown out of the Scopus databases. And you can see the area of pharmacology and biotechnology and molecular biology. So if you go to the website of this journal, this website is still existing. If you go to the website of this journal, you can see they are publishing the paper from all the domains, even arts, social sciences, and management. For that, why they are doing it? Because nobody is checking the subject area. If you see their subject area is pharmacology to genetics and molecular biology, you will never send the papers related to social sciences, arts, and management to them. So that is my point. As and when you go to a journal's website, please see the purview of that journal, in which area they are publishing and which subject area is allotted to them by the elsewhere indexing, right? So let me take you to the website of this journal also, so that you have the better idea that how these predatory journals work. So you see this website. In the website also, you can see they have written it is not limited to the specific details of science and engineering, but it is instead devoted to a very wide range of subfields in engineering, sciences, pharmacy, management, social science, and humanities. So this is a point. This is a point where they fool people and people start giving them their research papers, which are not even valid in that journal. And the next point you can see in this journal, their DOI will never work. If you click on the DOI, it will give you an error. The DOI should always be clickable, and it is a must. I will show you our journal, which is also a Scopus Index journal, Journal of Content, Community and Communication. So in our journal, we always take care of all these things which makes other journals predatory, that we will show you the full editorial board, we will show you the full details of the editor, and we will give you the email ID, official email ID that is JCCC and other details. Let's go to the editorial board. If you click on the chief editor, you will see my details. Here are my details. You can see them. Even my email ID and mobile number to contact in case of emergency. You can see the emails which we use, that is jccc@gwa.mit.edu. No Gmail ID is involved. We never use Gmail ID. And if you go to the current issue, this is a December current issue. It's an open access journal. You can download the papers you want and you can see the work that we are doing. If you click here on the DOI like this, it will directly take you to the DOI, to the paper itself lying on the web. So this is how a DOI works. So most of the predatory journals will never give you this kind of working DOI, right? So this is JCR for you, that is Journal of Critical Reviews, which we just checked. This is one example. I will show you another example. In that
Sorry
journal,
to
what
interrupt.
else?
Sumit, I think your screen is frozen.
Okay, so what are you seeing now, sir?
The December 2020 issue of your journal.
Okay, so I am at Scopus, back to Scopus now. So just wait, because the internet is also fine. Everything is fine here. I don't know. Is it to Scopus now? Shubhra ma'am?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, Dr. Narula.
Should I stop share and come again then for 1 second?
Yes, if you could stop sharing and reshare your screen.
Sumit,
Okay,
there are
just-
repeated requests to go a bit slow.
Okay, I think we have lesser time, so that is why I'm just pushing myself so that more and more information can be given. So I'm going a bit slow now. Can you see the screen now, sir?
Not yet.
I'm stop sharing. Okay, so can you see my video now?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, okay. So I have just shared my screen again. Okay, can you see now?
Not yet, Dr. Narula. It
Yeah,
says that
what
you have
is it
started
showing?
sharing. It says that Dr. Narula has started sharing screen.
Started
but,
sharing. So that means it's an internet problem. Yeah, it's a technical error, internet error, because I need to see that. What is...
Can you probably close your browser and open the other browser that you're using? Or
I'll just
do you
do that.
want us to share something for you?
I'm sharing again. 1, 2, go. Till then it was fine. You have seen the points which I have. JCR, you have understood? Journal of Critical Reviews.
We saw till how DOI works and how DOI doesn't work.
Okay, okay. So JCR, you have understood. So I'm again back to Scopus, but my screen is not there with you. You're... I don't know now what to do. I have full connection, full signals are there from my
Probably you
side.
should rejoin. If that is
Yeah.
okay with Manish,
I'll just rejoin.
should that be okay?
Yeah.
I'm rejoining in 1 minute.
All right. So while we are waiting for Dr. Narula to join back, Shubhra, do you think we should run our next poll?
Yeah, please. I think it will be great to understand before we move on to the next presentation on Scopus, how much of our audience understand of it. So please go ahead.
Yes. So I am launching the poll, and I hope you can see 2 questions on your screen. You have 30 seconds to answer these questions. And I will end the polling now. And would like to share the results now. So, Shubhra, can you see it? The results?
Yes, I think it's quite interesting to see that most of the people are already using Scopus and they are aware of how Scopus helps you in tackling this problem. So kind of makes my work easy when we move on to the next presentation. So we have Dr. Narula back. So
Yes, my screen visible, ma'am, to everybody?
yes, it is visible, sir.
It is visible, yeah.
Right. So I will be coming again to the Scopus resources. And the next journal after the JCR, which I will be showing you, is Test Engineering and Management. Here it is, self-populated by the Elsevier. Here it is. So if you see this journal, you will see very less number of papers. Why? Because they have removed the papers, those who are outrightly useless papers. So if you go to Test Engineering and Management, you will click here. And we will go to Scopus content coverage, and we will see the numbers of papers is not very high, those which have been published. You can again see the coverage discontinued. I will show you 2 or 3 journals in which the coverage has been discontinued in the latest list, but it is not written here, and it will be very soon updated here also into the scope source details. So Scopus content coverage, you can see in 2020 only 2 research papers. Why? Because all the research papers have been removed, right? So this is also happening, that now the research papers are also being removed. And why they are removed? Because of the useless work being done in them. And at the end, all are at loss. Your money is gone, your research is gone, and your reputation is also gone, right? So this was the second example, Test Engineering and Management. You can see it is continued. Now, a very unique example of no citations at all in last 5 years. I will show you that journal now. We will again go to title. We'll write the name, Plant Archives. Plant Archives. So in Plant Archives, you can see it's just opening up. I'll just show you the site score and everything of this journal. You can see the content coverage is not written here that it's closed, it's discontinued. But again, we have to verify with the discontinued list. What we will do, we will go to the discontinued list here, and we will see the name Plant Archive is there. So that is also now your job to check the journals with the recent discontinued list time and again. So we will go to P, it is alphabetically. So we can see P, and that is here, the Plant Archive. Here it is, the Plant Archives. This journal has been discontinued. Here it is. You can see at the number 540 when you download this list. Now, so what is unique in this? You can see it is written publication concerns also. They have published large number of papers. And even if they're publishing large number of papers, if you see the content coverage here, that is 1414 documents and then 1663 documents, which is a very, very high number, their site score remains 0. Look at this site score. It is 0 there. From the last 5 years, they couldn't fetch even 1 or 2 citations, and they're publishing like 1,000 research papers. So this tells us the story that its publisher or this journal has become a predatory journal. So now it comes to you, the onus comes to you also to check and verify this journal or any journal by doing these kinds of multiple exercises together, right? Plant Archive is one. And then one more journal here, which I will tell you.
Dr. Narula, we are still on your Excel sheet.
Oh. So you didn't see the example of Plant Archive?
No,
So I'll just close my video. I'll close my video.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, can you see this Excel sheet again?
Not yet.
Everything was fine half an hour before. I don't know what has happened. I don't know. I really don't know.
Technical issues can happen anytime, so that's okay.
Anytime. But it should not happen today only because we prepared a lot for them. And
that's Murphy's law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So probably you can close your other windows which are not required. So that will put a little less load. And also I see a lot of people asking in the chat the presentation and the details. So Manish has already written, and we'll confirm that again, that the PPTs and the links, whatever has been shared, will be shared with all the audience after the session, and you'll get a separate email for that. So don't worry about it.
And Shubhra, I can see there are lots and lots of questions that I can see in the Q&A box. It's
Yes.
more than 100 already. So
I think we'll have an engaging panel discussion.
yeah. So I can see
you see-
Dr. Narula's screen now.
Can you
So-
see the screen? I'll just take 5 more minutes and then we can go for panel or ma'am's discussion because of the technical issue, but quick examples for others. Can you see the screen, sir?
Yes, we can see the Excel sheet now.
Yes, right. I am also at the Excel sheet now. Okay, again, I will go to Scopus databases and I will show you one more predatory journal that has high number of publications. This journal is now out of the Scopus databases in the latest list, but the name has not come here. So the journal is European Journal of Molecular and Clinical Medicine. So you can see this journal. It is showing an open access journal. Site score is also very less. And the coverage area is 2018 to 20 by Ubiquity Press. The area is immunology to microbiology and all. And if you go to the content coverage, you can see around 3,600 research documents. And that is why this journal is now out of the Scopus discontinued list. In the February list, I will again take you to that list. So this is that list. You can see it has been yellow marked. If you go to the category E, we have to go to E, that is European Journal of Molecular and Clinical Medicine. You can see it is there, publication concerns. So what is troubling me is that if you go to the website of this journal, this particular journal, you will see the papers from other categories like management is published with this journal. So you should not publish with the journal which does not have any purview of management with them. So if you see this journal, this is the website. I think the website is visible now.
Yes, it is.
Yes, right. So this is the website that is European Journal of Molecular and Clinical Medicine. And you can see if you write here Bombay Stock Exchange and you go to search, so paper related to Bombay Stock Exchange can be there. You can see them, you can find them, and they have nothing to do with this journal. So why are you publishing with this journal? So that is also a question for you to ask to others, that why you are going with this journal. So if you go to the Scopus here, and you can see the subject area is immunology to genetics. So that is a point of concern, that why you are publishing the management paper related to Bombay Stock Exchange with genetics journal or immunology journal. So that is also a point of concern, and this makes it a predatory journal. I'll show you one more example, which is discontinued. Asia Life Sciences. You can see this journal. Again, you can see the coverage is discontinued. Why? Because of the publication concerns. And the other things also, this is the content coverage. Documents are quite less, but not very less. It was fine up till 2017. And then you can see 470, 401, 10. Why they have to publish 400 documents like this? Earlier, there was only 43, then 12, because they go into the publishing business and started earning quick money. This gives them quick money while publishing whatever they want to publish, which is not even related to the research of the area of that journal. Right? So that is there. And then one more journal, a good journal, Space and Culture, has been removed because of these concerns. Space and Culture, India. So this journal is also being removed because of these concerns. It was doing well earlier, but you can see the coverage has been discontinued in Scopus. So every journal under your watch must go through thorough checking, in which you can see that whether this journal is indexed or not. Sometimes it's written here, it is indexed, but you need to check and re-verify them with the discontinued list. Discontinued list should be your Bible or Gita or whatever in your life to understand all the related works to the journal. All the journals you need to go through to the discontinued list. Right. So these are some of the examples. There are plenty more. And yes, we have time. Thank you. We have time. I was thinking that we are running out of time. I will show you one more journal that has been recently be removed. I will show you a publisher also. There is a publisher named Blue Eye Intelligence Engineering Publication. We can search through publisher also. And all these three journals have been removed. Why? Because they publish large number of paper, useless research, and it does not give any credit to anybody in academic society. So that is why they have been removed. So Elsevier is very, very strict in taking them also. When they take them, the process is very rigorous, and when they throw them out is also very rigorous. But these things will never be get under carpet. They will be caught. These kind of journals will be caught sooner or later. So you need to beware of these journals and never ever publish with them, and do not ruin your academic career with them. So this was one publisher. I will show you another publisher which has recently been removed by the Elsevier team in February 2021. IME publication. It got 5 journal indexed, 3 are removed. These 2 are removed in February 2021 list. So if you go to this journal here, you can click here and you can see the details, business and all, and you can see the content coverage also. Some of the documents are of less number, but yes, the details are given there also. You can check the source homepage also. You can see the content coverage, only 291 documents, nothing much is there. But if you go to the source homepage, this website is fooling the young researchers while taking more and more and more and more papers. And you can see that how they have misused this Elsevier indexing with them. And every month they have published around thousands of research papers, and their databases have been closed. Again, you can see the link here, the Scopus accepted journals and all. They have put the mail of Scopus on their website, which is not there. Earlier it was there that we have been indexed by Scopus, although this mail is not for promotional purposes. We also have got the mail that our journal is indexed, but it is written there. You cannot use it for the promotional purposes. We have never put anything related to that letter to the website, nor other journals are doing. Those who are good journals. And you can see they're publishing like thousands of papers like this. And again, you can see the DOI is not working. The DOI is allotted, some random number is allotted, but it is not clickable. You cannot check that, and you cannot use the paper again because it's now on internet, and you just cannot remove it from there. And no sense prevails in these kind of journals. There is no need of sending paper to them. There is no need to work with these kind of rug kind of journals. And one important topic of cloning I've just missed, I will add it now. There is an important journal named International Journal of Disaster Recovery and Business Continuity. So you need to be very, very careful. You don't have to click on the first link, but I will click on the first link like this, and it will take you to a website. This website might not be the original website of that journal. This website has crashed and should be repaired because this was the cloned website. So this is the original website. Let me take you to the original website directly. So if you go to the Web of Science resources, you can check that this is the original website, which is being published from Australia by Nadia Publications. So this is the original website. So the cloned website has crashed, but there is one more area where this cloned website is lurking, is the area of paper broking, where paper broking agencies involved and show these websites for their own profits. So on this website, you can see they are still promoting the cloned website of the original journal on their website to publish with them for easy publishing. And it's written monthly journal issue. It's not a monthly journal issue, it's an annual issue. And you can see it is saying 30 days. And here is the screenshot they have used in the cloned website. And you can see it is Clarivate Analyst Index Journal. And the original journal is this one. Here it is, Nadia Publications is the original journal. I'll just show you the original journal, that is International Journal of Disaster Recovery and Business Continuity. And if you click on the fourth link, you will see that you can see the original journal. This is the original journal standing at fourth link. But first 2 and 3 links are all useless links. Do not check them. So this is also point of concern for you to do not always click on the first link and understand that this is the best link. Now again, coming back to predatory, next journal which I would like to show you is the Journal of Sustainable Human, but that is not there in the list, so we cannot have the discussion on that because it is under review, and some of the journals are under review because of the strong databases they are having. Over to you, Shubhra ma'am.
So thank you, Dr. Narula. I must say that despite of all the technical glitches that you faced, still your presentation was very comprehensive and very insightful for someone like me. And I know that the audience also shares the same view with me, because my view has been validated by all the positive comments that we have received for you in the comment section for your presentation. So Dr. Narula, I would like to ask you a few questions, actually, because there are
Yes,
a lot of questions which are there in the question box. So I would like to take at least one or two with you at this moment, and then we will move on to Dr. Shubhra's presentation. So my first question is, which has been asked by a lot of participants, is that who do we report to when we encounter predatory or fake journals?
So it depends upon the database. If it is in elsewhere, you can write to the Scopus team. That is, I told you that title suggestion @scopus.com. They will get back to you on that. If it is with the Clarivate, you can write to the Clarivate helpline. And if it is a ABDC, then you can write to ABDC. And if it is UGC Care 1, if you are an Indian audience, that is UGC Care 1 and UGC Care 2. So you can write to them. Or last, you can write to us. We will get back to you with all the details of that journal in 48 hours, whether it is predatory, cloned, or what has happened to that journal. So this is my first reply. And if you're talking about any government agency, that is that in which area you are, you have to see about that. In India, that we are writing to UGC, but for Scopus, we cannot contact UGC. We have to contact the Scopus team and to tell them. We have to, you and me, everybody has to do this work. As and when we find any predatory journal or the specification of a predatory journal, we should write to Scopus and we should tell them. We have to blow the whistle for them now. Everybody is a force now against this menace. We have to join hands together.
Thank you, Dr. Narula. And because we have some time left, we are right in time. So I'll ask you one more question, which is, what is pseudo journal? What is pseudo journals, and how does it differ from predatory journals?
Pseudo journals are the cloned journals. They are the lookalike images of the original journals. So in predatory, your name can be there in the Scopus databases and you can survive it for 6 months or 1 year that your name is there, but the journal is out. In cloned or pseudo journals, your name will never be there. Your research will always be online. Anybody can download it. Anybody can misuse it. You will be able to pay. You will be paying them hefty money on the name of open access. This concept has been misused many a times. Open access. I'm not dwelling upon that issue, but this concept has been misused. So the pseudo indexed and the cloning of the pure journals is a much bigger menace than the predatory ones. Because of the predatory, yes, there is a space, there is a way that you can tackle them, but for cloning, the websites are simply down. I just showed you one website. It was working till 2:30 before I started the presentation. It is down now because they just simply extract the money from you. They will extract the research papers from you, and then they will down the website. You will not be able to find them. You will not be able to have the contact. The main problem is the contact details. You do not know who are them. Who are them? They are from the citation cartel. They are from the underworld. You don't know who are those people. They are the pillars of academic corruption in the world. So what they do, they will just misuse your research, your money, and your name can also be put on some of the research paper and can be published in a cloned research paper. And you will not be knowing for that. For that, you need to go for Google alerts, which I couldn't show you. You need to monitor the web. I am taking alerts on me. So as and when my name, my picture, or my email ID is used or my research area is used, I will get an alert that this has happened. So I know this. So everybody has to do this also to avoid this menace, because you don't know who those people are, why they're asking for your information, why their name is not in the editorial board, why there are pictures of the person who don't know that their pictures have been used. I am not showing that picture. Some of the renowned international names have been misused in these cloned and pseudo journals. So it is a very, very big problem. And you have to be very, very careful, like the journals like Mukt Shabd and other journals which cannot have the foreign authors with them. They're using the Howard University, HOWARD University. instead of Harvard, so that it should be a look-like kind of thing. And then there are predatory publishers also. We couldn't speak on them, but there are predatory publisher also. Subbarao sir is an expert in that. He will be taking care of that. So these things we have to be very, very careful now.
Thank you, Dr. Narula. And there are a lot of questions that I want to ask you, and that our audiences want.
One question is there, Manish. One question is there which comes that if I publish in predatory journal. So I tell you what happens. If you publish in a predatory journal and you come to know now that it's a predatory journal, please see that your name still exists in the databases or not. If your name is existing in the databases, then you're good to go. Journal has been removed, but your paper was good. It was not removed. This is my assumption. But if your paper has been removed and the journal has been removed, then you are in a trouble, because the paper has been archived on the internet. And as and when you send that paper to me or to any other editor, it will be checked in IIT or in TIN, and it will be caught in the area of plagiarism. So as and when you're sending your research paper to a journal, you need to be very, very careful. Even if you withdraw your paper now, it may not be withdrawn from the Google archives or from the other archives of the other agencies. So that is also a problem, that you can withdraw. You can say that I have withdrawn, but if I search the same paper in my databases through the Turnitin, it might get caught there. So you might get stuck somewhere. So it is a difficult task. So you wish that your paper remains there in the databases, but the team is strong, their softwares are strong. Sooner or later, they are removing the papers. I have shown you a couple of journals also, and there are a couple of journals also, those will be removed in the upcoming list because of this problem.
All right. So thank you, Dr. Narula, and I'll park rest of the questions for the Q&A session and the panel discussion. So now I would request Dr. Shubhra Datta to share her presentation with us on expert curation and rigorous revaluation of Scopus. So over to you, Shubhra.
Thanks, Manish. And thank you, Dr. Narula. That was quite a what is a heavy presentation, I would say, a lot of information. And I think everybody will take time to process all that, but definitely makes my work easier, that people are primed about the topic and the nuisance the predatory journals do. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to get this to full screen. Okay. Is full screen visible, Manish?
Now, Shubhra, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Now it is. Yeah.
So very good afternoon and good evening to everyone. And I'll try my best to explain how Scopus helps you in decoding this nuisance of predatory journals. Dr. Narula has very well established how these journals fool the naive researchers, and they do it for their own selfish motives. They want to mint money out of your hard work. And it's a dangerous situation, but the knowledge should be there, how you should be able to avoid these. And when I was preparing this presentation, my whole focus was how Scopus kind of helps you out. And interestingly, when I was working on these slides yesterday, I received an email from a professor in Indian University. And I thought it's very apt to share it with you. So I've just put in a screenshot to probably help you understand how these predatory journal nuisance exist and how Scopus helps you decode them. So I received this inquiry and I've just highlighted a few things. I got it yesterday, and this professor is working in the Department of English in an Indian university, and he had listed 3 journals who had approached to him proactively. He was solicited through emails to publish with him, and these are paid journals that he had to pay some amount of money and then he has to publish. But he got a little doubtful, and then he reached out to me, and then we talked on phone on this. So I thought I'll share it with you. So if you see the 3 names that this person has mentioned, the first one, Ghazi University Journal of Science. So the beauty of all of this is how Scopus helps you understand this. So I just went on to Scopus to see this journal, Ghazi University Journal of Science, is being published by Ghazi University Institute of Science and Technology. Interesting. And this journal is reaching out to English professor. That's very strange. So if you dig deeper, you will see that this journal is a fake journal which has actually reached out or soliciting papers, right? And the pseudo journal working in the name of an original genuine Scopus indexed journal. So that's the problem. They take advantage of these things. So you have to go on to Scopus yourself to see and understand whether the subject area is matching what is there on Scopus and what they are asking you. Is it matching? If it is not, this is something which should raise red flag in your mind, right? The second journal, PenC, if you see, right? So I did a search and I saw that its impact factor is 6. So again, I went on Scopus and I saw that its site score, which is again a journal metric, is 0. So how could a journal which is 0 on Scopus have an impact factor of 6? Again, it should raise red flags to you. I did more search on Scopus and I saw that all its publications are in French. It's a French language journal. So why is it approaching an English department professor? So you should stay away from this. The third journal, Pollux, Journal of Archaeology. Again, the subject area should put red flags inside your mind that it's an archaeology journal, that too related to Egypt. Why is it approaching an Indian English professor, right? I just went on to Scopus and I saw that the last paper indexed on Scopus was in 2019, although the journal, if you go onto its website, it is still publishing. Its latest publication came out in January 2021. So what I mean to say over here is that all you need to do is put in a little effort, right? Go on to Scopus, check for the journal status, what information is there on Scopus, does it match with the journal website, what you are looking at? If it does not, that means this is probably a cloned website which is using a genuine journal's details, which is there on Scopus for its advantage to fool you researchers. So stay away from them. And now, after Dr. Narula's presentation and all this, the examples that I've given you, it's very well clear that's very important that you select the right journal for publication, because it not only involves, monetary cost, because you have incurred some amount of cost while working on that project. The institution has helped you out, but also a reputation of you as an author of your institute is at stake, that you publish with a fake journal or a predatory journal, because your whole work is questioned, right? And then these journals will not be considered by any of the evaluation agencies, right? Any of the ranking agencies. So all that work goes waste, right? Because there is no durability of these papers. These journals could be removed from the databases once we find out that these are not following ethical practices, right? So it's very important that you select your journal carefully before publication. And that's where a curated database like Scopus comes into picture, because it not only provides you with different metrics based on the publication status, the usage, which help you analyze how the journal is, what they are publishing in, is it fit for your match or not. But also Scopus does an ongoing exercise of maintaining its quality, as and when a journal is not able to match up to the quality to when it actually was indexed in Scopus, right? So Scopus ensures that those journals are removed from the database and you are able to get access to best of information. And because of this, institutes, it helps the vision and mission of institutes who want to rise up the ranking ladder, move ahead with research excellence, right? Because Scopus provides them the backing with the right information to be able to make informed decision with trustful data. And because of this trust, Scopus is considered to be the gold standard for most of the evaluation and ranking agencies. Just to name a few over here, I just put in some representative names over here. You all must have heard of QS World Rankings and THE World Rankings, which exclusively use Scopus data, right? And this trust on Scopus data from all these big agencies is mainly coming from the fact that the content on Scopus is curated by a very independent body comprising of international experts, scientists, editors who are subject area experts, because, you know, just looking at a journal, you cannot say it's a predatory journal, right? You have to do, it's a very complex thing. You have to do a very thorough exercise on it, right? Give individual attention to each of the journal to understand how the track has been, because it's not like that any open access journal would be predatory, any low impact factor journal would be predatory. No, it's not that easy, right? So that's why Scopus data is curated by our subject experts who work completely independently based on the facts and figures which are monitored and provided by the Scopus team over the years. So all the journals are carefully monitored, evaluated throughout the year. And finally, the decision is taken by our Content Selection and Advisory Board, that is the CSAB board, as to how, what is the current health of the journal. And based on that, a decision is taken. So Scopus follows a very transparent selection criteria for its content. I'll not be delving into this right now, because today we are not talking about mainly on the criteria that we are following that is openly available. So Scopus is the only website which is very transparent in its policies. Why is it taking any journal, or why any journal is being thrown out? So it's very clear, and we want to keep it that way with our users. Scopus mandate is very clear. It is committed to creating a responsible curated data set. We mainly look at journal level selection, right? How the journal is performing over the year. We are not concerned at article level matrix on the content or the quality of the article. That is the journal's prerogative to look into, right? So Scopus assesses only journal level details, right? So it's very important for the user to be careful about what they are publishing, the quality of material that they're publishing, or the journal that they're publishing in, right? So they also analyze it. Having said that, that Scopus follows a very responsible mechanism of maintaining its data set. But overall, if you see beyond Scopus also, right, not all journals are in Scopus, the publication malpractice of predatory journals is on rise now, and it's a complete threat to science. And what is driving these the bloom of these predatory journals is mainly the concept of publish or perish, you know, because the pressure is so high to publish, you know. Most of the researchers, they just want to get out with their publication, irrespective of the fact that the journal is taking correct precautions for peer review or not. So that journal that Dr. Narula showed, you know, 24-hour publication. So sometimes researchers get into the pressure that, you know, I have a degree at stake, let me just quickly publish my work in it. So we need to be very conscious about this. Secondly, technology. With technology, it has become very easy to spam you, right? That you can easily set up a website and send thousands of emails, you know, send us paper and we will provide you a quick publication, a guaranteed publication. So it's very easy to spam each other's mail. And also because of inexperience, lack of expertise, that people fall prey to that. And that's why it's important, you know, that you trust databases like Scopus, or you reach out to experts and you have a discussion with them, because there are cases where the journal is a print journal, but a predatory publisher has taken advantage of the fact that it is only a print journal and it makes a website of an online journal, right? Which is not existing, which is not a genuine one, and you get spammed by it. And of course, the exploitation over the open access model, the pay to publish model. This model started with the hope of making science open, or bringing the concept of open science in the world, right? Breaking down barriers. But this is the very concept that these predatory journals are exploiting, because they are going with the mindset and spreading the, I would say, the rumors that, you know, if you pay to publish in a journal, then it's a guaranteed publication, right? It's not like that. There are established publishing houses, there are established journals which are open access also, right? Because the whole idea was to make science open, beyond barriers, beyond paywalls. But then again, you have to be careful when you're going for an open access model, because that's where you tend to get cheated the most, you know. Who is the publisher? What is the editorial board? And the different checklist that Dr. Narula shared, right? How is their website looking? Go on to Scopus and check what they're claiming on their website. Is the same information available on Scopus or not? Like I showed you, they said the journal says the impact factor is 6, but on Scopus, the site score is 0. So you have to go on to the website yourself to understand what is the correct picture. Just to take you a little bit in the past to tell you how this whole thing started. The term predatory journals was first coined by Jeffrey Beall. He was a librarian in University of Colorado, and he came up with his blog, with his personal blog, where he wrote about this predatory journals, which prey on unsuspecting scholars to submit the manuscript with the sole purpose of making money, right? So it was the first time that the world got to know about this thing, which is very good. But slowly, as and when more and more understanding on predatory journals came in, and there was more research happening, the Beall's list got a lot of criticism and flack, because their criteria were not clear. There was him being unfair to journals coming in from developing nations, and which are not carrying impact factor. So, and he termed them predatory. So it was a very personal view. This was not I would say, a group consensus on that. And when more and more research happening, a lot of loopholes arose in this Beall's list, which was set to target or discredit the open access publishing in general. So ultimately, the website was brought down in 2017, and it is no longer, so Beall's list is no longer accepted anywhere, because it had serious flaws. So even a very recent Nature paper in 2019, so this was done by a big group of people, of the researchers working in predatory journals. So there was this survey done between amongst the leaders of predatory journal research, some 50 people, and they got together and they did the assessment, and then they saw that, you know what, Beall's list suggested that the journals, some of those journals are legitimate journals, right? And they are coming in DOAJ as well. That's a directory of open access journals. And that's why Beall's list is no longer credible. But the main point that Nature paper and the researchers came up with, that no list can factually detail that these are the predatory journals, because not all journals start as predatory. They can start off as genuine journals, and over the course of time, uh, they may have these ethical issues cropping up and they may become predatory. So you have to be very careful when you're looking at these journals. Look at the various parameters, their websites, the information shared by them. Uh, Go on to Scopus and check. You'll understand better as to what all you should be taking care of. So you should not be trusting blindly any list like Bales or Cabell's just like that, because there is a lot of confusion in that. Scopus understands this, that a journal may become predatory in the course of its journey, right? And that's why our re-evaluation process has become very stringent. Year on year, we are developing on this, bringing in new ways, new tricks to take care of such journals and to be able to, screen them out properly and in time. So it's very important to understand, and Scopus policy is very clear in that there is a clear distinction between predatory journals and underperforming journals. So an underperforming journals may be having, a lower impact factor, less citations, right? But that's why our CSAB board and their expertise come into picture, because they analyze each journal carefully, because these underperforming journals, publishing less, getting less citation, may be niche journals, catering to very specific areas. And these journals, though publishing less, could still be of high quality and need to be there in Scopus, right? So we have to filter out these small journals from predatory journals, which are a threat to science and need to be moved out of Scopus immediately. But you have to understand, when the journal was indexed, it was not predatory in nature. Scopus does not accept predatory journals. It has its very clear criteria to index journals. Only if the journal matches that criteria, it will be indexed. Over the course of time, maybe there is a change of management in the journal, maybe there's a change in the business model, and they want to get into these unethical practices of earning more money. So they can change over time. And that's why the Scopus list is very dynamic, right? Today, if a journal has been included, and going forward, if it indulges into wrong practices, it will be taken out. And Scopus has its processes in place, proper processes in place to screen for these journals. But predatory journal, it's a very ill-defined subject and needs a lot of scrutiny before any journal is kicked out. So Scopus takes time to validate its details, collect evidences, so that no legitimate source is discontinued, right? And none of the research are penalized, right, publishing in a smaller journal. But if it's only a predatory journal, then, and we have the right evidence for its malpractice, and it is evaluated by the CSAB, right, given individual attention, that the journal will be taken out. So we have been addressing the problem of predatory journals for quite some time now. And over the years, we have developed better mechanisms to address this issue. So if I just take you through our curation process, so mainly throughout the year, the journals are monitored and red flagged if we see some issue cropping up. How are they monitored? Mainly three ways. One, we take direct feedback from users like you, because you are the first ones whom these predatory journals would solicit with information that you publish with us, and the information doesn't match and all that. So we take direct feedback from users of poor performing journals. We analyze and evaluate the matrix as to how much they are publishing, what citation they are getting, from which journals, what is the citation trend, how much self-citation is coming, how are they benchmarking with other journals in their particular subject category. So we evaluate these different matrix and identify poor performing journals through our algorithms. And of late, recently, we have developed our new program Radar, which predicts journals with outlier performance, which are very different from the normal trend. All these journals are red flagged. The data is shared with our CSAB board, that's a Content Selection and Advisory Board. They go through the data, they go through the individual journals, and then finally they make the decision whether the journal health is good enough to continue or needs to be taken out. So all this data curation is not only limited to predatory content. That is just one part of it. What Scopus also does is, screens for the quality of journal as such, whether the journal performance is stable or not, or is it should improve over the years, and if it's not improving, it should not decrease at least, right? So Scopus in general evaluates the quality of the journal which it indexes. Predatory journals become a small part of it, right? So over here today, for predatory journal, it is mainly the direct feedback and the radar predictions that help us understand that the journal may have gotten into publication malpractice. Just to give you an example of how radar works and how we take it as a concerning feature is, let's say, over the years, there is a sudden output surge. They were publishing some papers in double digits, and suddenly they have gone into triple or 4 number digits, above 1,000 they have gone. So that's something that we need to look at, whether there is so much work going on in that area. Because let's say if you're working on coronavirus, suddenly the output would have increased this year, but that doesn't mean that journal would become predatory. So that's where the individual attention of CSAB comes into picture, right? But these are indicators that are picked up, and we make sure that we evaluate all these journals. Next is the publication country changing? So earlier, most of the papers were coming from India, and suddenly China has started publishing a lot. If it's an Indian journal, and a lot of Chinese publishing in it, then that will definitely raise concern over here. If I look at, again, the same Indian journal, a lot of Indian colleges were publishing, and suddenly now we have a lot of Chinese institutes publishing in it. That also puts a red flag on these journals, which makes us think and take it to the next level of evaluation, whether this journal is correct or not. And the CSAB makes a very responsible and data-based decision whether this journal needs to be continued or not. So it's very important that you keep a track of the journal and the quality they have been maintaining over the years before you publish. So if you look at Scopus, Scopus has been very proactive in maintaining its quality. So even if I look at the last 5 years, we have reevaluated some 990 titles, and they have been broken down into various categories. So as I said, looking for predatory journals is just one part of it. Scopus overall maintains its data set with quality journals. So publication concern is mainly where we get feedback from the user and with evidence that this journal has turned predatory, and we have the supportive evidence with that. So 434 journals were evaluated for it, out of which 67% were de-indexed, right? Then you have journals which are underperforming, right? They are not able to publish that much because the quality is so low, authors are not reaching out to them, right? So no point continuing with such journals because no good quality paper will come in that. So those journals come under underperformance, and out of the 332 underperformance journals, 50% were taken out. Outlier performance, as I said, comes from a radar algorithm. So if any journal, is showing a different track from what is normal, that will be red flagged. So out of 100 plus journals, 55% were discontinued. Because as I said, there could be genuine reasons also. I give you the Corona example. There could be genuine reasons also. So it's very important. It cannot be a very binary decision that, just because it is showing a surge in publication, it will be predatory. And that's why a very careful analysis of data and information is required. And the fourth one is continuous curation, because over the time, Scopus has been updating its mechanisms and criteria for checking journals. So journals which had been indexed, let's say in the first year Scopus was made. So those journals again go through rigorous review, and then if there is some change, they will be flagged off also. So the point of showing the slide is that we do a continuous monitoring of journals to make sure that the user gets the best quality curated content at their discretion. So once the journals are discontinued, right, then what happens? We had this question before also, and Dr. Sumit has already answered to it. To make it short over here, so once the journal is discontinued, the publisher is informed of this decision. No new content from that journal is added, but the previously indexed content will remain in Scopus to ensure stability and consistency of research data analytics. In exceptional cases where the journal has been known to do gross unethical publication malpractice, the content may be removed. To check for which journals have been removed from Scopus, you can download the discontinued list. Dr. Narula has already showed it a couple of times, so no need for me to show it to you. Our general advice is that the onus, for finding out these journals, because no journal starts off as predatory, they may become predatory over time. Once they have gained the confidence of the authors, they may change their publication practice. So the onus lies on the researcher who's publishing, on the publisher of the journals that they are managing, and of databases like us. It's together we can fight this. And it's very important to raise awareness on this topic. And that's why this today's webinar was conducted, because of this. Focus more on quality of publication rather than running after quantity, right? But then that's an institutional level decision that needs to be made. And of course, continue with good practices like what Scopus is doing. And we have a very detailed document which was released on how the phenomena of predatory publishing can be stopped. And the points have been taken from there itself. That was released by Committee on Publication Ethics, COPE, in 2019. The common red flags, Dr. Narula has already mentioned, it was there in his slides. Also, you have to be very careful when you look at any website directly, you're going on to Google and searching on the website directly, then you have to be careful about, are they giving out fake impact factors or journal matrix? Is there an incorrect address? Is the editorial board details given over there, right? Are they aggressively soliciting you, the first example that I showed you on the first slide, that they're writing to you that please publish with us, right? So that will put a question mark that why are they doing it? And before I end, I would say that it is for us together to raise our country's standard of research and international visibility, that as authors, we publish in good quality research in good journals. As editors of local journals, we develop and improve the quality of our journals, right? To help us, various initiatives are being done, like just for example, we did this webinar today, but like there is a cross-industry initiative led by different representatives, which is known as the Think, Check, Submit. You can go onto their website. They provide you a list as to what should be your checklist while choosing the journal for publication. Also avoid publishing in journals which are present in the Scopus discontinued list. There is also a list, discontinued list by DOAJ. Do check that as well, that the journal of your choice does not fall within that. For Indian audience, you can go and visit the UGC Clone Journal site as well to figure out whether the journal site you're looking at does not belong to the clone journal and it is a genuine journal which is indexed. So it's very important to do a thorough analysis and research before choosing your journal, because a lot is at stake for it. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Shubhra, for this insightful presentation. And before we move on, I would like to ask you a question, because there are many questions and I want to cover as many as we can at this moment. So for you, Shubhra, I can see a lot of participants have asked this question. So it is about the Beall's list. So is the list still relevant in current times? And can a free to publish open access journal be considered as predatory?
I think that's a very, very relevant question in today's times. So, okay, so first I'll take the second part of it, that an open access journal will be predatory. As I said, open access journals, this movement came in to, open science beyond paywalls so that the reader is able to freely read the paper. But this has been exploited by these predatory journals, right? That they ask money and they do not take care of the right practices. Having said that, it doesn't mean that all open access journals are predatory. There are publishers, even Elsevier is publishing a lot of open access journals, right? There are publishers who are coming out with very good quality open access journals. So it all depends upon the mandate of your institute, of your country, right? If you have to publish in open access, if the funder mandate is that they have to publish in open access, make sure that you do a thorough analysis of it. Not all journals, you cannot put a blanket law on that all open access journals are predatory. It's not like that, right? But yes, predatory journals do exploit this very notion. Second, about Beall's list, one of the key critiques because of which Beall's list was taken off and is not relevant in today's time is because he questioned all open access journals, right? So that was supposed to block the way of open science in the world. And it was just his personal view, right? There was no thorough research done. There was no thorough discussion amongst the prominent leaders in the world done. And it was his own personal view that he came up with. And the criteria were very unclear as to why is he choosing. His rationale was limited to what he thinks rather than bringing out clarity as to why this particular journal is predatory, the points. So that's why it was taken out. And in today's day, it is not acceptable anywhere. So I would suggest that do not blindly go by Beall's list. Look for indexed databases like Scopus. Have thorough discussion with experts while choosing the journals.
May I add?
Thank you, Shubhra.
You can.
Yeah.
May I add, Manish, to this?
Sure, sir. Please go ahead.
My point is that they must check the databases. Even if the journal is indexed, go to the content coverage and see, and go to the area and just thorough check the website of that journal. That is also very important. The errors are there in the website because the predatory journal does not know how to run a good journal. So there will be errors. So they have to check the errors, that they will be publishing papers of a different attitude altogether. A paper of English literature will be in Sciences journal. Just one error can save the future.
Thank you, Dr.
Even
Narula,
sometimes
and thank you,
Scopus,
Shubhra.
because Scopus will not go through the article metadata. This is now their responsibility, collective responsibility of the researcher to check and see that also.
All right, makes sense and very nicely explained. So thank you, Shubhra, and thank you, Dr. Narula. Now I think it's time to take a deep dive into the questions that we have received. So there are many questions, and we'll try to cover as many as we can. So I will initiate this panel discussion with my first question directed towards Dr. Subba Rao. So Dr. Rao, the question is that quantity or quality. Some institutions prefer high number of publications to achieve KPIs. So our audience want a comment from all the panelists on this. So we would like to start with you, Dr. Rao.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Manish. And it's quite frequently asked, what is important, quantity or quality? I think it's the mid ground that a researcher has to strike. Most importantly, quality also matters because if the institute is asking for more publications to be there for their KPI or for their accreditation or for whatever reasons, it is the institute's reputation. But as a scientist, as a publisher, as a researcher, your reputation is at stake. If you are just for the sake of numbers relying on predatory, fake, or imposter journals and then trying to publish your work there, your entire work and your entire credibility is at stake. So it is necessary to publish fast because in science, whoever publishes first, he becomes the innovator. That also is a underlying fact. Definitely, yes, one has to publish fast, but publish fast in a good reputed journal. That's very important. Okay, and then yeah, I mean numbers do add up depending on how much research you're doing. But you know, you have only one research project and end up doing 6 papers out of it in or 10 papers out of it in small journals or not so significant journals or imposter journals or predatory journals, then there's no point. So I think it's a mid ground. Aim for the best always, and at least you know that way you can go in for good quality and good quantity as well.
Just to
Thank you.
add in over
Yeah,
here
yeah,
to
sure.
Dr. Rao, what he said, I know the institutes do pressurize that you have to publish a lot, so the quantity becomes the main criteria. But you have to understand, somewhere as a scientist, your personal reputation is also at stake, right? You published so many papers and they're in poor quality, your peer community will know. You know,
Yeah.
they'll judge you when you go for any funding project, or you want to go for any promotion over there. So that's all that is at stake. You can't just let go of it just because of quantity. So
Certainly, yes. And in many organizations, whether it is in India or any other academic and research organizations, although they ask for more number of papers, they have a caveat. They ask for the impact factor, they ask for the journal, they ask for the quality of the paper. So, I mean, when all these are being comprehensively taken into consideration to assess one's performance, it's not just the numbers, but also the quality that matters. So, strike the mid ground. That's the best option.
Right, do
So
not
we
go
have,
out of the purview of that journal. Do not go out of the purview of the journal, like medical journal publishing Bombay Stock Exchange paper or English
Yeah,
literature
true.
paper or European drama paper. So this purview will also creates a negative impact in your academic career, as and when you go for an interview anywhere in the world, they will see the name of the journal, and once they see that you haven't published in the purview and the journal is also in the discontinued list, it is now
Yeah,
not
sometimes it's
survivable
so
in this
obvious
journal.
that you are a social scientist and publishing in a medical journal, a social
Medical
scientist
journal.
publishing in an engineering journal. So it may not be very good. I mean, yeah, those are some of the points that one has to consider.
all right. So we have to maintain a balance. You
Yeah.
want to say that?
Absolutely.
All right. Yep. So my next question is for Dr. Narula. The question is, what should we do if our manuscript has already been published in a predatory journal?
Yes, I have answered it quite a few times. Same answer. You need to check that whether it exists there or not in the Scopus databases or in the Web of Science databases. If it is existing there, you are saved. Your paper is still alive, but you might not get citations and your research work will not be publicized amongst all because it is in a predatory journal. But yes, if the paper has also been removed because one of the journal, Test Engineering and Management and Palak, Journal of Archaeology, all the papers are removed, and some of the other journals where the papers will be removed, then you have to see whether this stays there on Internet Archive or not. If the papers are not on the Internet Archive, like DOAJ, like DOI, like any other agency hasn't archived them, the clocks haven't archived them, then you can, if it is a good research, you can send it to good research journals. They will publish it for you after checking the plagiarism or similarity index of that. So this question will come again and again in clone journals also. Once a paper is online, please remember, everybody in his or her life leaves digital footprints. These digital footprints are gonna live with you throughout your life. And these are your digital footprints in academics. So once your paper is digitally earmarked somewhere on the internet, it is easy to cull it from there and it is easy to catch it from there. So get it removed from all the spheres of internet and then try to republish. Even if somebody says that your link is not there in the journal's website, the paper can be found on ResearchGate, the paper can be found on Google Scholar, the paper can be found somewhere else. Please see that your paper is not visible anywhere on the internet. Only then go for it. Otherwise, your paper and research is gone if it even if it is a predatory or declared journal. So
I think
please
rather
beware
than
of these.
doing all
Yes,
this,
Shubha.
it is better not to publish only in such
Yeah,
journals. There is
that is
much
on
more hard work
that
later
is on the solution.
and heartburn as
Huh.
well.
Yeah, true. I mean, once
You
it
don't
is
have to
done,
do.
it is done. And don't ever try to republish a work that is already published, whether it is in
Yes.
predatory or non-predatory. It is not good, not a good and ethical practice.
Yes.
Right. Yep, makes sense. So next question is for Dr. Shubhra Datta. So Shubhra, the question is that news has been rampant that some journals indexed in Scopus are predatory. Is this true? And how would you address this issue?
I was thinking that this may come up as a question because there has been latest news coming up claiming that there are hundreds of predatory journals in Scopus, but I would say that is all first of all,
Rumors.
yeah, those are rumors. So because as I said in my presentation, I was reiterate over here, Scopus does not index predatory journals. When the journal was indexed in Scopus, it was following the right guidelines, the right practice. But over time, there could be a change in management, there could be a change in the business model, or, I don't know, they want to get into quick money. So there could be unethical practices creeping in. And that's where Scopus involves its reevaluation parameters, very stringent parameters to screen out such journals, right? And that's why we are open to public feedback also. If you get to know that this journal is not performing well, you can always reach out to us. So Scopus follows very, very stringent processes, and it does not index predatory journals at all. That's all I want to say.
I would like to add, Manish. I would like to add, Manish. There are other databases on which I'm working. ABDC List 2 had these journals. In the website, you can see this time they have removed more journals than they have added. So they have also faced this problem. VOS, that is Web of Science, Clarivate 2 have these journals. So this problem is immense. It is with all the databases. Even Subarao sir can speak about NAS. That is for his core area. There also the journals are there. Even UGC Care 1, the Indian list, has plenty of predatory journals. The one journal, I will just name it here, Wesleyan Journal of publishing some Bankura College in West Bengal, has totally been publishing out of the context things. So this problem is rampant in all the lists which are there in worldwide. So only Elsevier has that, does not solve the problem.
So can I say that Scopus, on the contrary, helps you identify these journals?
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
we have a couple of helpline with us. You have a helpline. I have a helpline. We are reaching out to each other. We are sitting together from different parts of the world, and addressing this problem is one of the things that we are doing to help the community. This is my 60th workshop on this topic, and I think I have trained around 5,000 to 6,000 researchers in India while helping them through your databases only, so that they can catch them before me, and they give us a tip. Sir, this journal is becoming predatory. Please see to it. Even I don't have the data with me. They tell me. People are telling now. People are getting aware. More and more awareness is there from your side.
So basically, it should be a joint effort.
Yes.
And I can see I have my colleague Alexander here. So would you like to share your view, Alexander? He's our colleague from Singapore. from Research
Yes, thank
Intelligence
you.
team.
Thank you for having me here. So I've been working as the consultant in Southeast Asia for 7 years, and we have spoken so much with local researchers and editors and various people about journals, journal quality, how it works in Scopus. And I think that today was a really good workshop in pointing out that this whole thing about predatory journals or ethical issues with journals is a complex one. So first of all, it's not quite as simple as some people think. And I think that you've been right to point out that the researchers are all under pressure to publish a lot, right? And that probably it's important that researchers learn this skill of determining what is a valid journal or not, right? So it no matter which database you look in, you're still going to have some problems. I think as has been pointed out, it's really everyone's problem, right? We all have to solve this together. And it's quite complex. So it's not quite as easy as looking in Beall's list or any one place. You cannot say like all the journals of a particular publisher are predatory because one has, and we see also, I think as Shubhra just pointed out, when Scopus accepts a journal, it goes through rigorous evaluation. At that point in time, it meets the criteria to be indexed in Scopus. But what we see is many journals, most of them, once they get accepted into Scopus, they thrive and the quality goes up. They get many more good submissions, and assuming that they have a sincere professional editorial team, all is well. And that is really the vast majority. However, with some journals, once they're accepted in Scopus, the management of the journal might change. They may have the same name and the same ISSN, but they might be a completely different group of people who work. And in some cases, the quality simply goes down, and we detect that, and it goes back into the reevaluation, and we remove those. And the same is true if we become aware of any ethical issues, also goes into reevaluation and remove them. That's the process that we have. We try to do it as quickly as possible so that upon detecting these changes, we say, okay, now this journal no longer meets the criteria of Scopus, and we remove it. But I think that not many people have been aware of this and how it works and why we do it that way. So I think it's really great that we had this conversation today and to hear also the views of you guys as speakers. I think for Southeast Asia, we will continue to talk about this in follow-up sessions.
Manish, there is a list of 7 to 9 journals, those who are now out of Scopus, but they're still with Clarivate. So me and Shubhra had that list, and we discussed that how this is a possibility. Some are SSCI journal, but they were thrown out from your discontinued list. So this problem is troubling everything. Sometimes they are in your database, sometimes they are in another database, sometimes they are in another database. So they keep on jumping databases also. So that is also a problem. Sometimes it's difficult to catch the journal, that why it is out from your journal because of the policies of this predatory, and it is indexed by Clarivate in Web of Science. So it's still earning money, even through the Clarivate or through the scope. So this problem is there, and yes, the sophisticated work is done from your side. So that is why we write to you and we get back the answers very soon. To this mail and to you.
So probably Scopus is more proactive in throwing out the bad journals.
But you can see that why these journals are there in SSCI. I don't want to name them here. Name and shame is not allowed. So SSCI journals are there, and you have thrown them out because of this publication concern. And some are bi-monthly. There is one journal which is bi-monthly, 15 days a month they will publish.
That's an eye-opener, Dr. Narula. So okay. So I'll move on to the next question now, which is for Dr. Subba Rao, which is the question is that what is the economic impact of predatory journals, and does it really have an economic impact, Dr. Rao?
If it's a predatory journal, it's precisely working for money. There is economic impact, but the real economic impact of publishing there is first, if your time is money, your time is wasted. 2, your research has been sponsored, funded, and reviewed, and financed by somebody. All that money is going in vain. Next, you as a researcher, your credibility is going down, and so your opportunities or of getting more and more funding for your research is also going down, perhaps, right? And it's the economic impact is huge. Only other than the publisher of such journal, nobody else is benefiting from that, right?
Mm.
So I mean, that also is something that is to be looked at, and it is a huge economic loss on the nation if more and more people are actually publishing in this kind of journals. You're only benefiting a business model, but you're not benefiting the science. You're not benefiting you're not adding anything to the knowledge, body of knowledge that is there in that particular area.
And even the accreditation companies, when they come like NIRF, NAC and all, they see to it. They check it through the InfluBNet or from the other resources that what are you publishing? You just cannot show the 10,000 research papers are there in Scopus databases. Sooner or later, if they're predicted, they'll be removed. But even then, why these 10,000 and in which area, which category, and why you are going for that deal, pay and publish, that is there in the predatory thing. So economic impact is there. And yes, the business model is money minting only. And there are a couple of journals, they publish around 6,000 research papers by taking around 10,000 rupees, 6,000 multiplied 10,000, around 6 crore rupees. So they want their money and their fortunes are ready, but our research is gone and our research scholars are in a terrible position. So this makes me
So
sad.
that means a massive impact on the economy and the researcher community as well.
Yes, for a researcher, 10,000 rupees is a big amount. For a salaried person can be easy one, but for a researcher who's just doing his research and taking a JRF or SRF and paying to publish, and he doesn't know why he's publishing, the open access model which Shubhra ma'am told has been completely misused. There's a gold, hybrid and other types of open access models. They need to understand and read that. We are not dwelling upon that, but this model has been totally been misused. This concept of open access and why it is open access has totally been misused by these predatory publishers. It's a very unique concept, making science open to this, open to all and all, which ma'am told.
Okay. Yep. So Dr. Narula, actually the next question is for you. And the question is, and I have personally seen some of the examples like that, and I would like to know how can this happen? So if a journal has a good editorial board, but no impact factor, will it be a predatory journal?
No, it depends. You can have a good editorial board, but sometimes when you publish, you do not publicize your research work. Like we also started very low. Now we are aspiring to win Q2 or Q1 and this. So we also face this problem. We were not getting good citations or lesser citations. Then we told those who publish with us, kindly circulate your publications. Show them to others. Show the work to others. So yes, this can happen. Sometimes a journal can can lie low in the rankings, but yes, it's not predatory. Predatory is somehow that they're publishing high number of research papers, very high number of research papers, and that to go beyond their area. If a journal has just started, it's been 3 years, it will get an impact factor of from 0.1 to 0.3 and up to 0.5. With smaller bits, and after 4, 5, 7 years, it will increase up to, and even if it is not declining, Scopus will still take it with them, and the journey will continue. So the main problem with these kind of journals is that they publish very high number of research papers, which is not possible. If it is a biannual journal, I don't think so you can publish more than 25 research papers in 6 months. And going beyond that means hundreds of research papers. That means you are not reading them, you're not understanding them, no peer review work is involved. You are just simply taking money and publishing and sending it to Scopus for databases. So these kind of things, and subject area is not the same, literature paper in a medical journal. So these are the points. But if a journal is lying low and trying for that, it is not predatory. It's not at all predatory, because you need to see the number. If it has only published 12 research papers a year, obviously it will get some lesser citations and some lesser work is there with them. Only 12 research papers in an year, so it's also a lesser number for them. They must increase that to see that how it is impacting their health of the journal.
So it could be a niche journal working in a very specific area. So probably that's why the impact factor, because the number of citations would be less. So the impact factor of the site score would be less. Or if it's a very new journal, as Dr. Narula mentioned, it's hardly been a year or two, the journal has been online. So it'll take time to build its reputation. So then also the impact factor could be low. So it doesn't mean that it will be predatory, right?
Makes sense. Okay. So Shubhra, next question is for you. And the question is that does an author have a liberty to republish their work when they discover that their first publication of same work was in predatory journal?
This is something similar to what Dr. Noor already discussed about, but since Elsevier is also a publishing house, I think we can answer on that. If your work has already been published and it exists, even if it's a predatory journal, it's cloned journal, that means the work will not be acceptable anywhere, but it is published, it is present online. So you cannot take out your paper from that journal and publish it in another work. It is not possible. So better is not go for the journal in the first place itself. Do a thorough analysis before you publish. That's important.
And Shubhra, there is a related question actually. Are there predatory book publishers as well?
I think, yeah, Dr. Subara would be able to answer that. We were having this discussion before the session on book publishers. Sir, would you care to share your thoughts on this?
Yeah, several of them. And they in fact search on the databases of various universities as to who's graduating, who's submitted a dissertation, who has acquired PhD recently. They would come back with your title and say, we've gone through your work and it's extraordinary and we are ready to publish. And any new research scholar would be elated to publish and then get the work in the form of a book. So that's what they try to exploit. And any unsolicited invitation asking you to publish be wary about it. Look at it twice, do a thorough check. You have to think, check, and then submit. That's what Shubhra has been saying. And then you should really excise this particular caution. And as researchers, we see that the moment your article is published in any good journal, you will get at least 10 or 50 unsolicited invitations asking you to please submit in their journal, and then they are ready to publish a book. They are ready to publish a chapter. They'll invite you to be a editor for a particular issue, or edit a particular book volume, or whatever. So please be careful about this. And good PhD work, good dissertation work, good research work can be published into a book, but there is a procedure how you do it. You write to the publishing houses with a concept note, it gets reviewed, peer reviewed. They get back to you with the possibility of publication, whether it fits into their scope, or they look for the market for the book and things like that. If somebody is asking you to shell out, say, money for 100 copies of your book, and then the rest they would market and then give you 20% of the sale money as royalty, you never believe it. You never believe it. It'll never happen, because they're not going to market. Why will they market for you if they are selling you your 100 copies of your own book to you? So so one should be very, very careful about this. And yes, there are indeed a lot of book publishers who are predatory.
Yeah, so I think the key point is that a healthy discussion should be around whenever you are going for a publication, a book publication, with the publisher, with the editor, what fits into the scope, what will work, what will not work, what the audience. It cannot be you give us your work, we are publishing it blindly.
Yes.
Such things don't work. Yes.
No, you'll come across books who, the content of which has not even been proofread. Even the name of the author is also misspelled in some of the books, and they are still books and published. So, one should be very, very careful about it.
The same happened with the cloned website. The name of the authors and the research papers everything is wrong there in that cloned. Even predatory, some things are wrong. In cloned, everything is wrong. The same goes with the predatory publisher. One of them is a Bentham Publications. I'm naming it. So please avoid that publisher. There are 5-4 names with me. I'm not saying it here.
Yeah, I don't want to name them as well, but you know them.
So I would like to mention that we are slightly behind time, and I can see that we have a lot of participants from Southeast Asia, so it's very late for them. So considering the paucity of time, what I'll do is I'll take one last question, and that is for Dr. Rao. Dr. Rao, the question is that generally open access publication is looked down upon in is it looked down upon in the academic circles? That's the question.
Not at all. If you've been following science during the pandemic of late, everything was being quoted from the Lancet. Lancet is a very reputed Elsevier journal and offers a lot of open access material. So, I mean, that's just an example. So open access, as Shubhra was saying, is only a mechanism to make sure that the science reaches out to a lot of people. Your work reaches out, knowledge reaches out to a number of people who may not be in a position to afford to buy each and every publication. So in doing so, most of the publication houses, what they're doing is they are charging that ahead of making it open from the authors or the authors organizations or the funders. It is just that. That is it. It is not necessary that all open access journals are bad. So there is no need that they should be looked down upon. And there is a lot of respect for some of the open access journals, and people take pride in publishing in big open access journals. And some journals do ask for publication fee ahead of print, but that is only, sorry, that is not publication fee. That is only probably some journals which are open access also charge for review process. But if they are indexed thoroughly, if they are indexed in many databases, you need not worry about the quality. If you have money, if the research group has funding, yes, you can go ahead and pay. And then most journals which are open access give you an option, or which practice a mixed method of
The
keeping some
hybrid
open access,
method.
the hybrid method of open access and also the print publication. They give option to the author to choose whether you want to make your publication open access or you want to keep it in print realm. That depends on the funding with the author. If the author is willing to shell out some money well in advance and then wants his or her research to reach out to many people, one can choose open access. So just look out for these things. But no journal which is open access also, which is a good journal, which is an authentic journal, will ask for money early on. Once the review process is done, once everything is done, it is asked only then. So this notion that all open access is bad is not right. Open access could be good, provided it is fitting into the matrix that Sumit and Shubhra were talking about.
Sir, world's #1 media journal is Big Data and Society. As per the matrices of Scopus, you can go to the website. They ask for APC, that is $1,500, only after it got selected for
Yes,
publishing.
yes, processing fee is,
$1,500 I would pay because I will be in world's #1 journal. I would be the best one to get into that. So
even
this concept has entirely been misused by these fake predatory and clone journals, that you have to pay. No, you have to only pay when to reach to the highest level of your research. Then
and even Lancet charges a lot of amount. Even all Lancet series do charge.
yes, there is
But
no problem paying to Lancet. To reach that level is very important.
Yes.
Lancet has approaching you originally to publish something. What is wrong in paying to them? So the same goes with Big Data and Society, is a very reputed journal.
No, but Sumit, Lancet will never reach out to anybody to publish your work.
We reach out to them.
We reach out to them. Yes.
Yeah, we reach out to them.
Why-
Yes,
It is an aspiration for people to go with them.
yes, yes.
Plus, just to add over here, Manish, because I see a lot of questions and queries in the Q&A box, that of course, Dr. Rao and Dr. Narula has clearly mentioned that not all open access journals are bad and they need to be looked upon. Actually, the best of the journals are also open access. But likewise, there are journals which still follow the traditional forms where payment is not required. And it's very important information for people from South Asia and Southeast Asia, where funding is an issue. So it's not that, especially the young students, then they feel we won't be able to publish our work if we do not have the right amount of money. No, there are journals which do not charge anything and they go by the traditional form, right? They charge money from the reader. So there are many journals. All you have to do is look for them.
So thank you, Shubhra, and thank you all the panelists for this informative session. And I would like to express my gratitude to our speakers for joining us for this session and sharing their perspective on the topic, and also addressing questions and queries from our audience. So before we end this webinar, I would like to inform all the participants that in 2 days, they will receive an email from our team to download their certificate of participation, recording link, and the presentation download link of for this webinar on the registered email ID. A feedback survey will pop up on your screen immediately after we end this webinar. So ladies and gentlemen, we are looking forward to your valuable feedback to create more impactful researcher engagement programs in future. And I have a special announcement for our Southeast Asian audience. That is, Elsevier team would be conducting a webinar on predatory publishing Malaysia chapter on 25th February. at 3 p.m. Kuala Lumpur time. The registration link will be shared with all the participants through a post-event email. So do look out for the link, registration link in that. So thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this session as much as we did, and have a wonderful evening ahead. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
For my side,
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Thank you, Dr. Narula.
And
It was a pleasure having you here. And thank you to all our colleagues from Southeast Asia for joining in. That was quite last moment. Thank you.
and apologies for the internet hiccups. Now everything is going smooth. So
It always does like that.
Thank
But
you.
have a good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yeah, bye.
Good evening.
Bye.
Bye.